So the solder wick is basically just copper, but because copper is highly attracted to solder, or solder sticks very well to copper, it adheres well. Any excess solder as it heats up will be wicked or pulled through in between the channels in all the weaving of the solder wick. Well, I'm gonna add just a tad of solder. I do this often, it's just a way to get the heat transfer going. And then once it's going, well, the solder that was on here doesn't look very clean. I think it may also be lead-free solder, which just behaves a little bit differently, but it certainly loses its shine, which makes me believe that it's not clean. Well, if I can help it, I'm going to get all this solder off and then replace it with fresh solder. Big metal parts, I mean, this isn't big, but it's big compared to the contacts on, or all the tiny little pads on the circuit board. Big enough that it will start to dissipate heat into the air as you're trying to keep it hot. Here we go. So now look at that compared to what it was. You can pretty much only see the top surface of the metal of the clip without any solder, and there is still solder holding it to the board, and that there actually looks like a better connection. But I'm going to add a little bit of solder and just let it all get up to temperature. Okay. So first of all, the solder is now shinier. That means it has less impurities in it. And I have had poor solder connections, or things that looked like they looked like they were soldered together, but actually did not conduct electricity because the solder cools at different rates, or a little bit of flux layer builds up between two regions of solder, or weird stuff can happen.